I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to everyone who is here and to those who are not here. First item is the approval of the agenda.
And I do have one addition under personnel action items, and that's 6.3.3.1. It's a recommendation for a reduction, so just need to have that added. It should show on your agenda.
Do we have a motion to accept the amended agenda?
I move that we accept the amended agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Patron comments. I don't hear any, so we'll move along. Board approval of board minutes. We've all had a chance to read them. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes from May 21st.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Special presentation, Mr. Black.
Well, I've prepared a presentation that I believe we're going to show online as well for the board and the public with our results from our surveys this spring. Obviously, there are a lot of questions. Our community has a lot of questions on what's going to look like in the fall. So we'll start looking at the results here, and we'll kind of have a discussion about where we're at in the planning process for what school is going to look like when we return. But, the results, first of all, those that participated greatly appreciate you doing so. A couple key takeaways. The first slide I've got here is takeaway from the student and parent, and our teacher survey actually matched this. Our internet accessibility in Randolph Eastern is showing around 96%. I think the real number is probably around 89-90%. It's hard when you put out a virtual survey to get a real number on who has internet, because they had to have it to do this, but they can do that on their phone as well. So some encouraging information there, but we know that we've got some holes, and we're working on a plan right now to kind of address those. So next slide here is basically the questions on how did we do this past spring. For the most part, I think you could say we were 80 to 90% approval rating, if you want to use those words. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't the way in which we prefer or want to deliver education ever again, but we learned that we're equipped to handle it in the situation. Our teachers did a great job. I think our kids, for the most part, did a good job. Our parents took on a whole lot more than they had anticipated. So the feedback, again, pretty positive on both the parent and student side of things. The next slide, questions concerning this fall. So I sent a survey out to the community, specifically asking our parents for just feedback on masks, scheduling, how safe do you feel, those type of things. And that's what these slides show here. First slide there is, kind of gives us a feeling for where our community's at on the topic of sending their students back. You can see the 1st of June, roughly 8 to 10% of our families are still concerned about sending their students back, which is understandable. And then a lot of maybes, and then just 70% approximately were just a solid yes, my child's going back this fall. The interesting question on the masks, and I know masks are a great topic and something that is really discussed in the news and everywhere every single day, and in our world, education world, masks are a very hot topic. But you can see that the number climbed as far as people saying they wouldn't send their student if we made them wear masks all day, which is interesting, and that's good information for us, and it kind of speaks to the expectations of our community and when it's coming to masks. And inconveniencing their children, and just real concerns about how do you make a child wear a mask all day? What's the long-term health effects of wearing a mask for 7 straight hours, those type of things. So really, really good information, again, from our community on that topic. Next question is, if we were to offer a 100% online option, would you consider that? And basically, that's a question for those that really have concerns about sending their students here for health reasons. We've got a number of students that have upper respiratory health,
Right.
and so there's concerns there. So that was geared really to figure out how much preparation we need to do to create an online learning environment at Randolph Eastern. So good response. I think we've got 25% of our parents, I think, were probably all pleased with how the spring went as well, so they wouldn't mind going that direction. So that's something we're definitely considering right now. The other question here was the question on a blended learning schedule, changing up how our kids come in, splitting them into groups and bringing them in on separate days. In the comments, I think this question created a lot of confusion for folks, but for the most part, I think people just need more information on what does it mean when we say your child's going to be part online, part in the building. I mean, that question was kind of confusing, but it does give us a little bit of feedback from our community. This is an important question, I think, that myself and the board really needs to keep in mind, and that's the question of if we move back to a situation, whether it be if there's a spike in COVID cases or flu season where we have to move back online, really how much pressure do we put on our community when it comes to childcare? And I was encouraged to know that 75% of our family said, we're okay. We can take care of childcare, but there is still 25% that may need some help, that are working and need some help, specifically with younger students, if we have to go to another shutdown in the future. So
Of the people that turned in a survey.
And so the way I look at the survey, we've got 25% of our families responded. I wish it was much higher, but it still gives a good kind of barometer of those that.
Something to look at.
Yeah. Next item here is just comments that I pulled from the survey. And the reason why I share this slide is because I want the board and the people in the community watching and that watch us later to see that even though you may feel like COVID-19 is silly and we don't have anything to be afraid of, that there are really people on the other end that are concerned. And our responses showed that. There are a number of people that are very concerned about sending their kids back, and there are a number of people that want their kids to have to come back tomorrow. And I'm not saying one's right or wrong, I'm just saying that it's a wide span of emotions or feelings toward the topic right now. So with that, I kind of like to open up a little bit of discussion with the board about this fall and kind of where we're at administratively, and kind of the timeline for putting together a definite plan for the fall. I know we've got a lot of families and parents concerned about what it's going to look like, and I guess I would sit here and say that you probably could draw a circle of 50 miles around us and there's no school out there that's going to say, here's our plan for August. It just doesn't exist. Now there's a lot of thoughts going into it. I work on it every day with our team to come up with a plan. Our pie in the sky hope and plan for everybody, I think, in this room is that we come back August 12th as normal. That would be a perfect situation because we know that's the best situation for our kids and as far as learning goes. But we have to consider the health implications of that decision. And so we're coming up with some alternative ideas for what we're going to open. What we know is we're going to open August 12th. Right now, if I had to make a decision on June 18th, our K.I.S.S, we're pretty confident we could bring back in 5 days a week and keep them in self-contained cohorts. And speaking of Dr. Swinski, our health director, he's really, if we can contain the numbers for contact tracing issues and illnesses in the fall, he feels really good about that. So we've broken down our classroom sizes. We've made some changes with our staffing to drive our sizes down, and we're going to be right there right around 17 on average in a classroom, which is a good, safe number that I feel like if we make some furniture changes in some classrooms, get some stuff out, and just have desks, that we can really practice social distancing the best you can in the school and protect our K-6. Our 712 creates a little bit of different challenges because every time that bell rings, there's 420 kids in the hallway. And speaking with Dr. Swinski, that's something we've really got to work through and decide how do we mitigate and how do we practice social distancing the best we can in the school environment, specifically 712. So definitely working on some plans there, but I'm pretty confident today that there's going to be modifications for the elementary, but I think they'll be here 5 days a week unless something was to happen between now and then. And our 712 right now is pretty fluid. We're really working with the health department trying to develop a plan that we could all say that this is a safe situation without creating a problem for our community. So, are there any questions on this fall comments from the board? What your thoughts are, what you're seeing and hearing?
What is our target date to put something out to the community?
That's a great question. So we have targeted for our administrative team to have a work session with the board on July 7th and then July 14th to have a public board meeting to share to approve our plan. There may be a point the week of the 7th that I have a Q&A with Dr. Swinski on Facebook Live or on K.I.S.S TV, and where we really drill down into and give people more information. But I'm really hoping by July 14th we can really nail down a plan for August 12th. Give our parents plenty of time to plan for what it's going to look like, and I think we've got a good plan running. I don't think it's going to disrupt our families as much as we thought. I like the thought of keeping our school calendar the way it is so people can make plans. Our school day may look a little different as far as how long the kids are in the building, but we'll let all that know that week between the 7th and the 14th. That's a good question.
I know I was listening to the radio, and when they go over the doctors talking about it, the wearing masks for the kids or for anyone is important.
Sure.
I know we're going to try to space them out and stuff, but my big concern is keeping the kids healthy.
Right. So masks is a good thing that I'd like to touch on. It kind of where we're at, and speaking with Dr. Swinski right now, and again, this is pretty fluid information, and really just trying to have a conversation to educate our community on where we're at is our mask situation. Dr. Swinski is comfortable with it not being a requirement for the entire day. What he would really like for us to consider is masks in communal spaces. So anytime the kids are in the hallway, when they're on the bus, to have that mask available to wear. And the same, there's going to be different recommendations for our staff because we have some staff that are definitely high risk that we've got to protect. And so that's going to be a little bit of a different conversation. But they'll probably be much of the same. If you can't social distance from your kids, like if you're standing over a kid's shoulder giving them instruction, probably a good time to pop your mask on. But if you're sitting down at your desk and your kids are working at their desk, it's probably okay to get a break from the mask. So I don't think at this point right now, I think we're getting safer by saying it's not going to be the entire day, as long as we can cohort and get that mitigation and contact tracing steps in place. So again, that's today. That's a lot can change in 2 months. We've learned that in the past 2 months. So
And I think it's important for people to know that it's just not our opinion of what we should do, but we have a lot of boundaries set and a lot of hoops to jump through from the state, from the health department, and our largest concern is the kids, their health and safety, as well as their education. So we will do the best we can to keep them safe while still maintaining those boundaries and hoops that we have to do.
Sure. And it's also important that it's not just Randolph Eastern moving on decision for just our kids. I mean, we are responsible for our students, but the Randolph County Health Department and Randolph County administrative teams are working terrific together. The Randolph County school nurses are meeting with Dr. Sawinski, so we're not on an island. We're all moving to make a similar decision for the best interests of our kids, because we're all in fairly similar situations concerning the virus in Randolph County. So,
I got a two-part question.
Yes, sir.
The one thing we've discussed it is, we got to be concerned about the second wave of the COVID-19 coming up.
right,
And it's going to hit about the same time the flu season hits.
Right.
So, we got to distinguish between the two. And you might touch on what do we do if a student gets a confirmed case or a teacher gets a confirmed case of the COVID-19?
sure. So I personally think our biggest challenge in reopening next year is going to be the attendance piece. If we have a confirmed case, we know that that's a staff member or student that is going to be out a minimum of 14 days, depending on where they were with symptoms when they were tested and all that good stuff. So we've got to be prepared as school to, students, most of our kids are going to be asymptomatic, but if they test positive, they still can't be here. So we have to be flexible and ready to pivot as a school, or say that happens in a first grade classroom and the health department says that cohort needs to stay home for 3 to 5 days. Well, we've got to be able to pivot to continue to educate them e-learning and going online. Same thing with the staff. We've got to be able to pivot to make sure that the education doesn't fall through. So if we have a staff member that has to be quarantined because maybe their spouse was sick, tested positive, we've got to be able to pivot to where that staff is still delivering instruction to their students. So that's a great point, and I think anybody that's kind of following this knows that late October, November, December, to me, it's a big question mark. It depends on where you land, but even if our kids, COVID or flu, we don't want anybody to be sick, but flu season's hard enough with the number of kids that leave, and then when you compound it with a quarantine issue, that's going to create a lot of challenges for us. And that's why I think it's important that we all remember that we're going to have to remain flexible, and our teachers got to know that they're going to have to be on point. They're going to have to be prepared to go live with a digital lesson, maybe in very short notice, just like we do on snow day.
Yeah.
So,
We're lucky that they're trained and.
yep, they've worked really hard to be there.
I know, it's not easy for them.
No, so those are good questions, Coach.
Is there another way for parents, like if they have concerns that didn't get the survey, to get a hold of this school? Do you want them to?
Yes.
How would you like people to reach you?
Right, so what I would like to do probably in the next week here, probably the week right before the 4th, hoping June 29th, June 30th, send out another survey that's a little more refined to here's what we're thinking. The first survey was to get some feedback on how did things go, how do you feel about masks and these other things. I would kind of want to send out a survey, okay, here's where we're thinking, what our plan is, give us some feedback on that. So, and if they can't do it online, I'll provide them with the office phone numbers, my email address, whatever it takes to just get the information. I've had a couple parents come in and meet with me and share some concerns and thoughts, which has been very helpful.
Yeah.
Our door's wide open. This gets all our attention right now, as it should. So, any other questions on the survey or just kind of the reopening discussion in general? Yeah. Okay. And those that are watching, we're going. The athletic piece is coming up later in the agenda, so I know that's important to a lot of folks, and I understand that. But it's going to come up a little later down the line. So that's all I have.
Okay. We're ready for action items. So payment of regular claims.
I moved to approve payroll 11 and 12, claims 6323 through 6402.
We need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Field trips. Yeah.
They're not going to be discussed for a little while.
Personnel consent agenda.
Number of personnel items here. First of all, a couple hires. Reagan Bradbury coming in to be a Title I highly qualified instructional aide. Excited to welcome Reagan back. She recently finished with her bachelor's degree in education, so excited to have her back. Raylan Mills back into that JV girls basketball coaching position. A couple resignations there. And then there's a recommendation for reduction of a position at the corporation of our transportation director position. So I think you all can group those in together and vote unless you want to do them separately.
I move that we approve the following additions to our payroll. Payroll.
Approval of the personnel.
Yeah, personnel. Yeah.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. So, was that all, that was the
That was it.
resignations too?
Yep.
We're on to updates.
Brad Osborne's here to kind of share. Kind of dropped it on him about 15 minutes ago since I knew he was staying around. He can give the updates on some projects better than I can. The one thing I will touch on before he kind of shares, you have an agenda, Brett, you do.
Yes, I do.
But the paper project, paper destruction beast that we've taken on this year, that we're kind of estimating at 20,000 pounds worth of paper that we're going to shred next Tuesday.
Wow.
That process is down the road. The shredder's coming Tuesday and they're hoping to take care of that, but the ladies down there have done a tremendous job and scanning all those documents and getting digital backups. So we're the finish line is there, and I know at least two of us will be happy to see that gymnasium look a lot
See the
emptier.
floor again. They really had a
So,
big job.
Yeah, it's went very, very well. So.
Unbelievable.
Brad, do you want to go through that list and just kind of
Sure.
general
Yeah.
update on items?
As you can tell, we've got a lot going on, which you already knew about, and then, I get people to ask me, what are you guys actually doing with the school being out? But that's our busiest time, obviously. But starting out, first of all, with the roofing project, AAA roofing will be starting tomorrow on the back area at the high school, above the gymnasium stage area, and the two lower areas above the coach's office and locker room. And after that, we should be up to snuff on our roofing all the way throughout the corporation. That was the last little section we had to do. And also had a structural engineer in this week to the bus barn. We were given information last year that we could roof over it, and that's what we were planning on doing. And kind of got some bad information on that, but the company that represents us, Worcester Management, has taken charge here. They got a structural engineer in. If they can go over, it'll save us a lot of money. If they can't, it's going to have to be a complete tear off and start over. So we spoke with Aaron on that. We opted to go ahead and hire the engineering firm to find that out and see if we can save some money in the long run. The junior-senior high school 200 lane remodel. You go down there, you haven't seen a whole lot start with that yet, but they've been in and measured for all the duct work to do the vertical classroom units that we're putting in, the drop ceiling, and that's the first phase of it. They are still waiting on the special seals for the chiller to get the new chiller actually functional, and the same company is doing the duct work. So the guy said he will be here the week of the 29th to start. If he's got the seals, that's going in. He's got the duct work, that starts going up. So then we'll be proceeding with that throughout summer. In reality, Aaron and I just got the delivery time on the temp spec units that are going into classrooms. They're now looking at July 30th on the shipping date, and there's no way in reality you're going to get those all installed before school starts on August 12th. Aaron and I have discussed it. It looks like they can go in and work one classroom at a time, so we may have to just take a class and relocate it for possibly a week, get that room done, move them back, and move someone else around. So that way we can still do that while school's in session and get it wrapped up. LED installation, they are ahead of schedule on what their projected timeline is. and they project that to be, everything to be completed within the next 2 weeks. So everything in the corporation will be LED at that time.
That's great.
And that was part of our contract. I don't want to find another incandescent bulb anywhere, or fluorescent bulb.
Can't
The
wait.
boys' locker room, Mike Turner went down there, and it's good. And all the stuff's out, the old cage lockers, and it's just bare shell. I put that stuff on the website, on the auction website. It all sold. A guy from Michigan came down and bought it, so it's all out of our way. We've got a company from Lemon Masonry that's coming into we had a moisture problem where it's underground on the corner of the locker room. And they're actually going to do an epoxy ejection from the inside that goes out, instead of us having to excavate and remove the asphalt outside. This can all be done internally, and that way we don't disturb anything outside and save us money that way. So
Good.
once that's done, then we're going to move forward with completing the rest of it internally and getting it looking good. And we got the lockers, I believe, on order this week, so the smells are done, so we'll be getting those in.
So we're doing that in-house now, some of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
there may be a part of it, but I'm going to reach out to local contractors to see a part of it. If we can't get it done, personnel-wise, we've got, like I said, we've got a lot of projects, and only a handful of people is available in-house to do it. But we're doing everything we can in-house to save money for the corporation. And we do have Todd Landis laying block walls tomorrow in for restroom stalls in there, so we're going that way. That way we don't have to worry about the problem we had in the past with the steel metal stalls. So these will be blocked and they'll be sturdy.
They can hit it as hard as they want.
That's right.
If they tear that up, they can have my outhouse. Because that's all they'll deserve.
The key fob system, I've had Corson in and looked at this. Derek Blanc actually reached out to me about 3:30 today. Did not have the figures done. We were hoping to have something for the board to look at. But they were working on it, plus Blake, I don't remember the name of the company.
maybe?
Yeah, I believe that's right. They were looking at too. So we'll have two quotes on that, on what we're looking at with the fob system. So it'll be forthcoming here. LED sign, to my knowledge, that's completely done. You know, we set it last Thursday and wired it up. Everything turned on, smoke didn't roll out of anything, so we were happy. And
It's really
looked
good.
good out there, so.
What did it say? It said Rusty rocks for about an hour?
Yeah, Rusty wins. Yeah, Rusty wins. Concession stand, for all practical purposes, the school was done with their part on that. Mike and I installed the countertops. Mike Thornburg got those in last week. We got those installed this week. So it's ready for the boosters to go in, take their equipment back in, and set it up as they see fit.
Yeah, if anybody wants to go see a Cadillac of a concession stand, I would go look at it after it's done. It turned out very well.
They got a new sink, correct?
A new
Oh,
sink,
he did.
a whole new prep area. It looks
Good.
so.
We want
sink
to
was-
check the hot water heater in the sink out.
Try it out.
All that, be careful with that hot water.
That's good. That's good, though. The sink was atrocious. It couldn't, I mean, it wouldn't.
We got a nice
Yeah.
3-bay
Turn
sink
on,
down
it
there.
sprayed
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yep.
Got two bay
Two-bay
and
with
two
the
sides.
wings, yeah.
Two side wings.
Yeah, I got a peek at it earlier, and
Stainless
it was
steel.
looking great then.
Water
Very
comes
nice.
out boiling.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Perfect.
We need hot
Stood there with
water.
the thermometer and tweaked it until I made sure it was the right temperature.
That's good. We don't like doing dishes with cold water.
Won't have that problem now. So.
That's good.
Last is the classroom carpet. Angle flooring actually started this week. Did a classroom, our project lead the way room that we moved in the old computer lab, and laid some LVT in there. Diane had painted the room, really looks nice. Went with the two-tone gray in there, trying to update some of our color choices around here. And with the new lighting and everything, it's going to make a really nice space for him there. He's done the band room. Right now, he has torn out a little bit of carpet, but he tore out what he knew I had in stock that he could replace. With the mill and COVID and everything, it's been kind of touch and go on when the delivery's going to be. And I agree with him. Don't get way ahead of yourself and then say, "Oh, we don't have anything."
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he's ready to hit the ground running as soon as he gets here. So
And you mentioned Diana. She's done an awesome job painting.
she has, and she's really liked it this summer. She's had a little more time. Usually it's a rush. You can only get this much done, and she's had time to really go in and do some great repair and paint over all walls, and it keeps our facility nice that way.
Yeah,
So,
she does a good
I
job.
personally, I think she saved that Title I room and Robson's room.
yes.
I mean, she built the wallpaper. It looks I'm blown away with how it turned out with what she had to take off of it, so.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know, when
she's
she
done
takes
right.
that wallpaper, she did in the computer lab too, she has to, with the glue on the wall, has to skim coat the wall to smooth it back up, sand that down, then bring it back and start over, so, you know, we eventually want to move to doing that to the other 6 classrooms, get the old wallpaper out.
Yeah.
And it's just labor intensive, so.
Got anything else on the list that wasn't on the list that you feel like we have going on that?
No, you know, we're hoping if we don't run out of time, we still want to address the concession stand, try to touch it up down at the athletic field down there, do a little work in the restrooms down there. Mike Turner went down yesterday, we're doing a line tap. I know when Tim was here, we'd always talked about running a line over the old building.
Right.
And we've actually got the line tap in place, that's gonna happen this year, so. We still have a lot of little projects here and there we're doing as well.
Hot water down there?
You will have hot water there too.
Oh, great, that's nice.
Be careful what you wish for.
We do appreciate all you do and
Yeah.
everything that's done in-house to help.
Yeah.
So thank you. I've got a good group here to work with me. They
You do
really
have a
try
good
hard, so.
group.
Awesome. Good.
Any questions on summer projects, updates? And remember, a lot of that work is bond fund work that we worked for approval, and because we pulled a lot of that stuff in-house, some tremendous money savings, which I think is going to allow us to do some additional things within the next calendar year, so that's exciting. So,
We're lucky to have a good team to help
absolutely.
make it happen.
Okay.
Thank you, Brad.
We're ready for new business?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Take it away.
Okay, first item on there, don't need action tonight, just to get the board thinking, and we'll generate more conversation over the next month or so. But we'll in the July meeting, the actual board meeting that's scheduled, we'll talk about our capital project plan for 21, and then also get into our bus replacement plan for 21. There's really not any information that you need to know other than just know that information's coming and we're moving right back into that budget cycle. Brad and I have spent a lot of time talking about a lot of other things, but 2021 hasn't really got to us yet. So we'll definitely have some idea of kind of the projects that we're planning to do with our budget for next school year. Obviously knowing that we're going to be mindful because of tax losses and funds that we've seen. So that and the bus replacement plan will come to you all in July. So.
Okay, good. Okay, next.
Next item, Trella, our cafeteria manager, is asking that the board consider an increase of our lunches from $2.25 to $2.50. We haven't had an increase since 2015, 2016. However, I'm hopeful. I've got some really good news that I'm hoping we're working towards. We've talked a lot about what's that threshold for our community to be in that free for all category. We got an email from the state last week saying their preliminary numbers are saying that we qualify. I've got Trella and Diana and Blake working on pulling numbers to see if that is going to stick for us. So I'm really hopeful that we will be there. It's called a community eligibility program. One of the great things about the program is, one, yes, it will be free lunch for all of our students.
Awesome.
Which is a good thing, but two, it's also a 4-year program, so once we qualify, we don't have to do it every year.
Oh, that's
So that's a 4-year program. We won't have to do free and reduced applications. A lot of the work that Diana Loomis does tracking that won't exist anymore, which is exciting in itself. So I'm hoping the July board meeting we'll be able to approve that community
Great.
eligibility program and get that done. But we just got that news this week, and I know we talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
And with all the changes going on, I didn't know where we were going to land, and so it looks like our community may be there, and we'll get to have that discussion in July. So, but I do need approval to raise the lunch rates in the case that it doesn't.
Is there any action needed, from parents or anything right now?
No,
Okay,
it
great.
is all done on state data.
Good.
They don't need to do anything now. It's all generated from TANF, foster care. There's lots of big formula. I can't even pretend to tell you how it's figured. I just know that we're over the threshold according to the state's numbers, and we have to confirm that
Yeah.
to qualify.
That'll help
So,
a lot of families, especially right now.
How's that book fees also?
So book fees is interesting. So if you were a paid student previously, my understanding is you will still get billed for your book fees, but we get a higher reimbursement percentage from the state for any textbook fees that we do not recoup. So, yeah. Yep.
Good.
Okay. I move that we accept increasing the lunches.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I would like to say that Mrs. Horn did a really nice job of laying out exactly why we need that increase.
She did.
That was very, very well thought out and printed out for us.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Black?
Next item here, just requesting the board give me permission to fill any vacancies that we would have as far as teaching staff or instructional aides if I see necessary for the next school year. On this note, I will share, there was good news that came from the state yesterday that I think the governor said he's going to spare the knife on public education
Yes.
for at least for the next budget year, which is a great sigh of relief right now for us. So
For a lot
still
of
got to be
schools.
mindful, but this just gave me permission if we were to have a teacher resign or get another job and have another teacher that we need to commit to,
Sure.
to go ahead and make that move. So
I move that we give you permission to fill positions before our next meeting.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Okay, next item.
next item, and I know we've discussed this in the past, and one of the challenges that Brad and I have really kind of been looking at ever since I came in this role was kind of our bus drivers and honestly just kind of the average age of where they're at in their career. We've had a fleet of bus drivers that have driven for Randolph Eastern at a very high level, done a good job for us, and we don't want to lose them.
No.
We've got some bus drivers that have approached Brad and I, said they're moving into that retirement age. They're going to be moving into Medicare, expressed some interest in continuing to drive, but for lack of better words, since they were saving us so much money by not being on their insurance, could we give them a little bit of kickback and say, thank you, please don't leave us,
Yeah.
more than anything. Please stay on our team, because it's going to be difficult when these folks really do decide to retire. There's not a lot of drivers out there for us that have that S certification that we need. So I'm just asking that the board allow us to pay a $2,000 stipend to those that come off our insurance. The one thing that I would ask is that they've done that for a year, or been with us for at least a year. I want someone to come work for us for 6 months, get a stipend, then leave.
Yeah.
So some protection there, but
No.
just asking that the board entertain that motion.
I move that we give them that stipend if they'll help us out with the insurance.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I think we're super blessed when it comes to those bus drivers. I mean,
Right.
when you hear the horror stories on the news, we've never had to worry about that kind of stuff.
Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next item is as promised, some discussion on the athletic piece. And I, not to speak to rumors, but there's been some discussion in our community that Randolph Eastern's made the plan that we're absolutely not having athletics next school year. Statement's not been made. I mean, so with that, I've shared with the board the phase 1 plan that Randolph Eastern has to jumpstart high school athletics. It's pretty well in line with what the state has advised from the IHSAA, starting July 6th through the 19th. We really wanted to approve phase 1 and then July 14th come in and approve what phase 2 and phase 3 looks like. If you looked at the document very closely, phase 3 is where would actually start competition, but again, there's 2 months between now and then, so I hate to put the cart before the horse too far, but I would like to approve phase one. Just a couple highlights, and this document we'll make available online so folks can see it. We're giving our coaches permission to send it out to their athletes, the fall sport athletes, once it's approved. But just a couple things people just need to understand and know is that initially here for that first couple of weeks, it's going to be small group workouts. Conditioning and things really encouraged to happen outdoors. Again, there's a lot more safety outdoors than indoors with this COVID issue, and still working through the unknowns. So our coaches will be working out with other groups and pods, as they're called here. Like I said, for the most part outdoors. There will be some indoor activity with our volleyball team, but it's going to be pretty limited in what they do to get started. Basically, this is easing into the water and really monitoring what's going on. Some other things to be in place. Athletes will be encouraged to bring a mask and wear a mask when they're not participating in an activity that's labor intensive. So if you're just standing and watching something happen, we ask you to throw on a mask. We're asking our coaches to wear a mask as well when social distancing isn't possible. If I'm a football coach and I'm standing on the other side of the field and the guys are over there running or doing whatever, yeah, you don't have to wear a mask at that moment, but when you're given instruction, we're asking our coaches to wear their masks. Our locker rooms will not be accessible, so we're asking our athletes to come dressed, ready to go, and leave. Water bottles, this will be, as far as I know, even with our students this year, you gotta bring your own water bottle. Our refill stations will be available, our fountains will not be available. So coaches will be taking attendance every day. COVID screening questions will be asked when they're here, so those symptomatic questions and asking temperature questions as well. So that screening is going to occur, and our athletic trainer will be heavily involved in that process as well, and that will happen every day. No physical contact between athletes. We won't be playing other schools. They won't be playing 3-on-3, 5-on-5. Won't be playing 7-on-7 football during this first phase. And then again, equipment is stressed to be cleaned in between sessions. The other item that we're making a requirement that all our coaches watch the COVID training video before they start with their athletes, and that athletes have all the proper documentation turned in before they can participate July 6th. And so on that, I would say, yes, this is just for high school athletes to get started. That's phase one and phase two, and it's right in line with what everybody in the state's doing. And that's not me making a statement. We're not having junior high or elementary athletics. I'm just saying that right now we're trying to ease into the water with our high school sports, monitor, see how it goes before we get too far down the road. So just ask that the board approve the phase one plan of athletic reentry.
And you're going to make sure that the coaches keep track of, you have a form or something for them to
They
keep
have
track
to.
of who comes and
Yeah, so we have a
contract tracing.
They'll have an app available to them that they can even do on their phone
Oh,
to
that's
do
great.
attendance for all their, and also go through those questions
That'd
with
make it easier for them.
daily. Yep. So EventLink, the company that does our calendar,
Yeah.
that puts it out, is actually creating the app for us.
Good.
So,
Good.
yep.
So do we have a motion to approve phase one?
I move we approve phase one.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And review of reports.
Budget target as of May 31st, 2020 for the corporation remains in pretty good shape, but we just as a board just have to know that the operations side, because the tax funding took a little larger hit than we were anticipating, we're going to monitor that very closely. The other items are in great shape. The one thing that we will, again, have to be cognizant of is that athletic account, and what if we have athletics in the fall, whether the state allows spectators or not. I mean, all those things, just because spectators aren't here, our expenses still remain the same. The spectators are the income, the event itself is the expense, so that could quickly impact that athletic budget. So that's something we're going to have to be mindful of moving forward. So, any questions on any of those reports?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so corporation department comments. Corporation staff.
Will there be masks in the classroom, a box of them in case for every?
So that's a good question. The question was accessibility to masks for students, and depending on where we land policy-wise, but the governor is going to send a cloth mask for every student. But it's not a cost to us. We'll provide a cloth mask for all of our employees. Well, kind of where we're at is they'll get a free cloth mask, and we'll replace their mask with a disposable mask one time, but there's going to be some responsibility on the kids to maintain and bring a mask with them. So
I think I paid $4
Yeah.
for this at Myers.
yeah,
And
and
they have all kinds of.
I think we were seeing everybody's catching up, and Brad and I just kind of joked about this. 6 weeks ago, we didn't think that we'd ever get hand sanitizer or disinfectant,
know.
and now it's overstocked.
Yeah, that's okay, we'll go through it if
That's
we're
right.
open.
That's exactly
Eventually
right.
we'll use it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, that's a good question.
Okay. Any other corporation comments? Superintendent comments.
Just real quickly, I want to celebrate our lunch and delivery team and that crew. Today was the last day for the summer lunch program. And to date, without the last 2 days, we're at 31,644 meals delivered, which is incredible.
Wow.
We cooked out today to celebrate the last day with those ladies.
Oh, good.
They did
They
a tremendous
deserve it.
job for us.
They did.
Yeah.
And I just want to publicly just say thank you, and they knocked it out of the park. I think we're going to be just over 32,000 meals served since spring break, so
That's great,
pretty incredible.
yeah.
It is.
I hope they enjoy their little break here.
Yeah,
They deserve it.
They're going. I told them, actually, I don't know if it's the right thing to say or not, but I said, take a break. You're going to work really hard this fall.
Oh, yeah, no kidding,
But that's all I have.
yeah.
Okay. Board comments.
Well, the first one I got is recognize Rick Lacy for his years of service as baseball coach. He,
Definitely.
and I know he didn't want to go out the way it did last year,
Sure.
but the man's done a lot for our all athletics, not only that, and
Coach, if I could just jump in there.
absolutely.
That Coach Lacy was on his hands and knees picking weeds out of the infield on Sunday afternoon, so he's going to continue to be around. I don't think he's just going to disappear. but-
That's great,
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
want him
I
to.
appreciate you bringing that up.
Right.
yeah.
CPR classes started back up, Union City Fire Department, so teachers, coaches, whatever, we had 13 last Saturday.
Good.
Our fire department is continuing to do this throughout the community, so it's just not one thing. So
Right.
anybody out there wants a CPR class, call the fire department and we'll get you in a class. And the sign out front, Brad, looks awesome. Much needed.
We knew that'd make you happy.
So,
I
who's
think
in
he was-
charge of keeping the sign updated?
Who's in charge of keeping?
Yeah.
Yes.
So collectively, Phil has access. He's going to be real. He'll never look over.
'Cause he's never busy.
Between Phil, Rusty, Blake, and I,
Okay.
we're going to push out the information. And at some point, we'll probably get with the ladies in the elementary office so they have access to push out important information specifically from the elementary. So
It looks really good.
it does look good.
It
Yeah.
does. It does look good.
Mhm.
We got a lot of positive comments on it. So.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely. Any other board comments?
Was there supposed to be a 3.6.1 or 6.3.1?
What?
The
No,
change?
you're talking about 6.3.3.1, the reductions.
Yeah.
It was up there and with the personnel.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay. All right, just wanted to make sure we didn't miss that.
Nope.
We got that one. Any other comments? I would just like to say we really do appreciate everyone's flexibility and just the awesome job they've done with the kids and with the building. And it's such a unique situation, and everyone has just really stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
including all our administrators.
Yeah.
Erin's done an awesome job. Everyone has, really, and Brian with his graduation videos.
We can't wait to
Oh,
see
Tomorrow
it.
night at 8.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Graduation will air tomorrow evening,
6. Tomorrow at
6 o'clock,
Six.
yes. So thank you.
It's hard
I'm so
work.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ready to roll, so he's
Yeah.
ready for it to roll, I know that.
All right.
He's
My
cut-
understanding. I'll be here until it's completely done.
He's tired of me asking.
He'll be here.
Have you pulled all your hair out yet?
No, it turned white though.
Okay, still there. That's
I look like
good.
Brad here next month.
Okay, if there are no further comments, this meeting is adjourned.
Okay.